In November of last year, a franchise in America's favorite pastime named its newest general manager. The Miami Marlins announced a most unusual pick, but one that was most deserved for the top executive position. Kim Ng, a female East Asian American, was selected as general manager for the Miami Marlins pro baseball team. She had interviewed for general management positions at least 10 times over the years, only to be passed over for someone else. But her hiring by the Marlins was not just a personal victory. It was widely celebrated as a breakthrough with the potential to place more women in traditionally male power roles in baseball and beyond. November 13th, 2020, the day Ng's new position was announced, was hailed as the most noteworthy day for baseball since Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 1947. Welcome to the Diversity Leadership Series. I'm Lori Warren, Associate Publisher at Virginia Business Magazine. Today, we want to make certain that any person who wishes to grow and develop in business, in life, who wishes to better themselves, can seek out a leader and see someone like them, no matter what color, no matter what gender, no matter what. And with role models today like Kim Ng to inspire, we want to ensure we highlight inspirational leadership on a local level as well. Inspirational leadership has no partiality. It does not favor one over the other. Anyone can inspire. Today, Virginia Business, in partnership with Bank of America, is proud to present Diversity Leadership Series. If you can see it, you can be it. Before we get started, I would like to take a minute to hear from our partner, Linda Stanley, President, Bank of America, Charlottesville.
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Linda Stanley, President of Bank of America, Charlottesville and Harrisonburg, and Market Executive for Business Banking for Greater Virginia. It is a great pleasure and privilege to be here and bring you greetings on behalf of our 4,000 teammates in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We at Bank of America are honored to sponsor and support this Diversity Leadership Series in partnership with Virginia Business Magazine. Community is important to all of us at Bank of America, and the bank has made a commitment to focus on health, housing, jobs, and small businesses in vulnerable communities. We're supporting this commitment with a $1.25 billion commitment over 5 years, and today's program is in partnership with Virginia Business Magazine and is one of the many ways we're delivering on that commitment in communities throughout Virginia. In Charlottesville and Harrisonburg, our support has been focused on basic needs, including food insecurity, affordable housing, as well as small business. And a key area of focus is job skills and workforce development, which is critical in advancing racial equality and economic opportunity. A few other examples of how we are acting on this commitment are a $350 million investment in equity funding to minority entrepreneurs, businesses, and funds, $50 million direct equity investments to minority depository institutions, and $25 million in support of job initiatives to HBCUs and HIS. We have a steadfast focus on this work. We're wrapping up year one, but there's still a lot of work left to do. And as stated by Brian Moynihan, the President and CEO of Bank of America, I quote, "A sense of true urgency has arisen across our nation. In view of the racial injustices we've seen in the communities where we work and live, we all need to do more." We're looking forward to today's discussion with two of our featured businesses. They are the living embodiment of the essence of this Diversity Leadership Series. If you can see it, you can be it. So let's get started. And to our friends at Virginia Magazine, thank you for your partnership. Lori, we'll turn back to you. Thank you.
Today, we welcome two impactful leaders for our series. During each of the series, you will hear one incredible business leader chat with another dynamic business leader. At Virginia Business, we do not know what they're going to be asking. We've only recommended they share business insights with you. Perhaps share their business successes or their most valuable failures. And we told them, be candid, be authentic, be messy. They will be talking today in front of a small, live, fully vaccinated studio audience, and they will be taking questions from both our live studio audience and those watching virtually at the end and as time permits. So get ready for a great discussion. Joseph To currently serves as the Chief Operating Officer of Summit 11 Incorporated. Prior to joining Summit 11, Joseph served as the co-founder and managing director of Central Oceans USA. Joseph held a senior leadership position at TMO Global Logistics and was on the founding team of SportsPage Incorporated, Vendor MS, and Spendrix Incorporated. In each of these management roles, he has been credited with building strategic and profitable customer and supplier relations, being a diligent worker, and an innovative thinker. Dr. Zhong Cheng has 9 years of working in the General Hospital of the People's Liberation Army, which is one of the top 3 hospitals in China. Dr. Cheng has worked a number of years in both Switzerland and the US alongside Western medical doctors, showing them how to integrate acupuncture with Western medicine. He has served Greater Charlottesville area since 2008. Listen in today as Zhong and Joseph chat together on just what or who guided their decisions in business and led them to be top executives. Prepare to be inspired. Here they are, Dr. Zhong Cheng and Joseph To.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm here with Dr. Cheng. My name is Joseph To. As you just heard, I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Summit 11 Inc. Dr. Cheng, do you want to give the audience a little bit of your background?
Yes, I came from China and I started to practice acupuncture in 1997. I worked in one of top 3 hospitals in China for about 9 years, and then I went to Switzerland about 2 years, and I came to Charlottesville in 2008.
Great.
And I started my own practice in 2017.
Wonderful. So how did you get started in your field in acupuncture?
When I was little, I think I was influenced by my father. When he was a soldier, and he had a very bad allergies, and so a medical doctor there cured him using acupuncture. He became interested in acupuncture and Chinese medicine, and he started to teach himself. When I was little, I was a subject, and also when I was ill, and he treated me.
Okay.
After graduation from high school, I didn't know what I should learn, but I knew I would love to live in Beijing. My father recommended a college of acupuncture, so I applied that college, and I went to that college and started to learn Chinese medicine.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's great. So what are the as you think about sort of your experience in business, what would be like one bit of advice that you would give to someone who's looking to maybe either start a business or is getting into business? What advice would you give?
I think pick up the direction or the profession you like and devote yourself. It's not easy to go through, but do your best. When I started my practice, I experienced a lot of difficulties. For example, I was not born in US. I came from another country. I have language and cultural barriers.
Sure.
When I started to practice, I worked for somebody else, and then decided to work on my own. I know nothing about doing business.
Right.
And also, I go to my office. At that time, we didn't know which location is better, and we looked around, and then we found the place we like, and we started to practice there. When everything was ready, and we didn't know how to get the patients,
Right.
so we did advertising. It was difficult for us to pick up which newspaper or TV because our budget was limited.
Sure.
So we tried to find something efficient,
Right. Right.
and also joining the insurance company network. It was new for us too,
Okay.
and we didn't know how to start.
Right.
And then we decided to join, and we made a lot of calls. And you can imagine the language,
Right.
and also which department we should talk with. And that's why we have been struggling, and also we need we got a lot of help too.
Right. Right. So what was sort of like because I have a very similar story in terms of working for a company and then deciding to go out on my own. What was the major driver, the major reason that you decided to leave a practice where you're working for someone else and go out and start your own business?
So I think at that time I wanted to have more freedom,
Right.
and also financially, I think I wanted to be better too.
Right.
And I feel that at the company, I didn't feel comfortable anymore.
Right.
So that's why we decided to start our own. And how about you?
Yeah. So like I said, I have a couple of business partners. We were all actually working together at the same company, right here in Charlottesville before we went on our own, and we kind of got to a point where I think we felt as though we were limited in terms of how we could grow the company and what we could do with the company and the culture that we could build. By working for someone else and going out on our own, in addition to the financial benefits, right, allowed us to really, sort of build the company the way that we envisioned it. Very similar, start to you, right? It's in the beginning, it's always difficult, right? You have cash concerns, you have time constraints, all of that. But over time, we've really gotten to grow and expand and sort of start to build the group that we set out to build when we first went out on our own.
So you have so many employees, and so I think managing people is very challenging. And so what do you do to manage so many people?
Yeah. So in terms of the management of people, I think it really comes down to sort of building that trust and building that relationship with each employee, right? One of the big things, the big tenets in our in any of our businesses is building that trust with the employees, right? So we have a very open dialogue with our team. We're constantly seeking their feedback and seeking their input, because at the end of the day, the company that we want to build is the company that they want to work for, right? If we're making decisions that are counter or different from an environment or a place in which they would want to come to work every day, you're going to end up losing those employees, or they're not going to work to the best of their ability. So for us, being open and having that dialogue has made managing people a lot easier. One of the other things that we really try to do is give everyone as much autonomy as possible, right? one of our sayings is, we're all adults, right? I'm going to treat you like an adult. Go ahead and make the decision, right? We're here as sort of a resource and to clear the obstacles out of your way. But at the end of the day, we trust you, and that's why we hired you in the first place. So go ahead and make the decision and go ahead and execute the way you need to.
So so I think there are so many employees. Companies doing the same business
Right.
as you do. So what have you done to make your business unique?
For sure. So, I think we have taken a strategy that's a little bit different. A lot of our team comes from the customer side, so we'll actually hire out of the different shippers that are present here in the U.S. Whereas with most companies in our space, people leave the brokerage side and move to the shipper side. So we've kind of tried to reverse engineer, and that gives us a little bit of a competitive advantage in that we intimately know the challenges that our customers are going through, right? And then we've consistently invested in technology, right? In our business, it's a very high volume, high transaction business, and so the technologies, we've built our technology in house. The technologies that we have, we're able to be a bit more efficient than a lot of our competition.
All right. This is Lori Warren, Associate Publisher of Virginia Business. For those of you that are watching us virtually, you can I know you can only see or hear me rather, but we've got some questions coming in already from our virtual audience. We're going to have a little bit of fun here. All right. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. So the first question is, what is the worst mistake, maybe the best mistake you have ever made as a manager? Joseph, I'm going to let you have this one first.
All right. That's a good question. I've made a lot, as I think any manager has. I think the worst mistake I made, and I made it fairly early on, and it's been sort of a guiding principle for me since then. But there was an employee that we really wanted. We sent him a job offer, and he didn't respond right away, and I sort of took that as an indication of like, hey, he's not interested. So I actually rescinded his job offer. And he called me back in a panic, like, hey, I'm interested. I've just been like dealing with some personal stuff, but like I really want to start. And he's actually now one of our business partners, right? So he's kind of worked all the way up, and he's been an incredible asset to us. But I think the lesson that I took from that was like, hey, I need to be patient, right? Everyone has things that are going on in their personal lives, and we want to we can't always have things done exactly the moment that we need them done, or want them done, I should say. So that was probably one of the bigger mistakes that I made, was sort of pulling that, because had he not called, we would have moved on, and we would have missed out on a really great team member.
Did you have to offer him more money as a result?
It's probably cost me more money in the long run. But no, I mean, he came in, he was really gracious about it. And, of course I apologize for my haste. But yeah, it worked out. So, yeah. What about you, Dr. Chang?
In my office, I'm the only one working there.
Sure.
But I think for me, I would love to say I should be more patient,
Right.
as you mentioned. I think in the beginning, I was a little worried about everything.
Sure.
But over the time, I think everything is getting better and better. I tell myself, okay, next time when something happens, calm and patience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right. That's a hard lesson to learn too, right?
Yes, it took me years to learn that.
Yes. I'm still learning it. This is an interesting question. When has the color of your skin mattered the most in your career, at the beginning or now, or has it ever? Dr. Chang?
I think not really, because I try to treat every kind of patients, different background, different color. So I didn't see the difference. And how about you?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't necessarily say that I've had any, super adverse, experiences. I think early on in my career, it made more of an impact than it does now. I think at this point, um, I've started to build a network within the industry, and so I think, I have a bit more of a track record, and so I'm not sure that it plays as much of an impact now. But I think certainly early on in your career, when you're sort of still in that phase of trying to prove yourself to the people that are around you, I think it might have made me work a little bit harder, and work a little bit longer. So.
Yeah. This is a question that's obviously very relevant right now. It's the Great Resignation. How do you retain great talent? How do you gain talent? What do you look for when you're looking for talent? I guess this mostly goes for you right now,
Yeah,
Joseph.
absolutely. So, yeah, the labor market right now is incredibly tough, and tight. In terms of employee retention, right? We really try to go out of our way. I think, like I said, to give everyone autonomy, right? I think that what we're seeing a lot right now is that people want to be valued, and they want to feel as though they are making an impact, with what they're doing. And so giving people autonomy has been really great for our retention. We've also moved to the downtown mall, and so it's a nicer environment for people to work in. And in terms of recruiting and acquiring talents, we just completed an acquisition, mainly because we wanted the talent that was within the company there.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, recruiting, again, nice office spaces and nice comp packages and things like that, certainly help. But yeah, I mean, it's a tight market right now. I think that people really have to enjoy what they're doing. Otherwise they're going to go somewhere else.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Dr. Chang, this goes to mentorship. If someone does not have a mentor, you mentioned your father a little bit
Yes.
earlier on in
Yes.
this segment. What would you suggest they look for in a mentor? And was your father your mentor?
When I was little, he recommended me to learn acupuncture, but at that time I didn't feel it was my call. But years later, I started to realize this is my call, and I started looking for the mentor, and actually I found one, and I love him very much, and he is very, very knowledgeable.
And who was that?
Dr. Yang,
Okay.
and he was born in Taiwan. He moved to California many years ago. He has 3 PhDs: acupuncture, Chinese medicine, and philosophy.
Oh, he doesn't sound very busy at all.
And also he loves the patient. And he told us when I took the lessons, he said, do your best, and if you want to help your patient, you know how to do it. So that's why I think he's a good one. He keep learning. He is in his 70s. He wrote a book, one book a year. He wrote more than 40 books now.
So if somebody's looking for a mentor, what would you suggest they look for?
I think the person must be kind and open, and in many ways can help you to improve the knowledge, skills, and build up the good relationship.
I think that's wise advice. Joseph, did you have a trusted advisor or mentor along the way?
Yeah, for sure. One of them is actually my business partner, Todd. He was my first boss, and kind of taught me what it was to actually like be in the real world and not a college student. His mentorship has been huge. And then also one of my early customers was also a huge mentor for me, just in terms of helping me to understand how to build relationships and how to in a business environment and how to strengthen those relationships, right? A lot of what we do is relationship based, and so Thomas was a great mentor in that. And I love what you said about being open, right? I think that a good mentor relationship, they're there to make you feel good and to help you learn things, but they're also there to give you a little kick in the rear when you need one. I think that open dialogue is critical in a mentor-mentee relationship.
One of the things the audience and the folks here do not know is that I've had the pleasure of talking with the two of you over the past couple of months to prepare for today. And you've both been so very generous with your time. You've been incredibly accessible every time I've reached out, and I've reached out plenty of times. And it's been truly remarkable given how busy you both are with what you have going on. And I think that's been true for all of the leaders that we've highlighted in the past few months, that it's been shocking how accessible each of you have been. What is your secret to being so accessible given how little time you have? How do you balance it all, and how do you have a quality of life? Dr. Chang, how do you balance it all?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
How do you balance a quality of life given how busy you are?
So first, I focus on my work, and also after work, and I focus on my family time. So if in my office, my time only with the patient, but when I leave the office, I take everything. I leave everything in the office. I try not to bring them home.
You separate them very, very succinctly.
Yes.
Joseph?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I agree wholeheartedly, right? I try to make sure I have dedicated times for the family. My wife is incredible in terms of managing our household and helping with the kids and, doing all of that and managing me. But yeah, in the workplace, right? I think it comes down to having a great team around you, right? I'm able to kind of step away. One of the things that I learned really early on is you don't want to be the barrier or the throughput barrier, I guess, right? As a manager, and so I really try to make myself obsolete every day. And I feel like if I can make myself obsolete, then I've done a good job as a manager, right? If I can empower our team to do what they need to do, and give them the training, the support, all the things that they need to be successful, then that really frees up time for me to kind of focus on the things that I want to focus on.
Perfect. Last question. What do you each wish that you knew now that you didn't know 20 years ago that may have made your path to success a little easier? I will let you take this, Dr. Chang, first. What do you wish that you knew now that you did not know 20 years ago?
So if 20 years ago I knew doing this was my call, I would love to devote my energy and time to do a better job. This is I feel I wasted my time in the past.
I'm not sure that's true. You seem like a very busy man, but thank you for that, Joseph.
Yeah, I think had I known the sort of the value of a network, right, much earlier in my career, I think that would have helped a lot. Like I said, I think I'm a huge proponent of leaning on the people that are around you and people within the industry, and kind of just having conversations, as many conversations as you can, and continuing that learning process by talking to people who have been there or who are experiencing the same thing, and so sort of that network that you build throughout your time in business is so critical. And some of those people are friends outside of the business as well, but but we all we talk constantly. We're constantly sharing war stories and saying, hey, I'm trying this service, or we're working on this, and what are you guys working on? And that's been huge, and that's been really valuable for me.
So continuing to learn and continuing to network. I think
Absolutely.
Those are two great pieces of advice. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for today. I know on behalf of Virginia Business and Bank of America, we both thank you, and thank you to our virtual audience and to our live audience for joining us. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be well.
Thank you.